today I'm going to show you how to make classic French macaroons. Those little cookies filled with ganache. They come in a wide variety of flavors, scents, profiles, aromas, and colors. Now, traditional French macarons are only colored and flavored with natural ingredients. But nowadays you can find them with pretty much any variety of color and all sorts of different artificial colorings and flavorings in them, ranging from pastels to bright neon. So the basic macaron is a small sponge-like cookie made from powdered sugar and almond flour. Okay. Today we're going to use chocolate, some cocoa powder, to make chocolate macarons. And then the other part of the equation is going to be whipped egg whites. These are 3 room temperature egg whites that we're going to whip up into a meringue. And we have a little bit of sugar and a little bit of cream of tartar. If we wanted to make different colors, we could add some food coloring in during the meringue stage. If we wanted to add different flavors, we can either add different extracts and different oils to give us different colors and flavors into our macaron. And then there's a ganache filling, which can be made using white chocolate or regular chocolate. We're going to use a chocolate ganache, and we're going to first take our powdered sugar and our almond flour. We're going to put it in a food processor to get them all finely broken up and aerated. As you can see, there's a little bit of clumps in the almond flour here and in the powdered sugar. So we're going to put them in a food processor, process them up so they get nice and fine. And then we're going to put everything into the sifter. We're going to sift all the dry ingredients together so that they get good and mixed up. And then we'll whip up our egg whites. Okay, so we pulsed our almond flour and powdered sugar in the food processor for, I don't know, 30 seconds or so on pulse to get it good and aerated and all the little pieces mixed up. And I'm going to put a little bit of quarter teaspoon of salt in it here. And then I'm going to pour it from the food processor bowl into my sifter. And get it off. There we go. Okay. And then I'm also going to put 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder into here as well. And I'm going to sift. Now the next stage involves me whipping the egg whites and adding a little bit of cream of tartar. What I want to do is get a good, solid, soft peaks, not quite stiff peaks. And then I'm going to fold the egg whites into my flour. Or rather, the other way around, I'll fold the dry into the wet. We'll get that all good and sifted. I'm also going to need a sheet pan and a piece of parchment paper and a pastry bag. We're going to pipe the macarons into the shape that we want. Generally it's a round little circle, but I have seen some where they do different shapes, different colors, and they kind of paint on them, make them real pretty and artistic. All right. All right. And now I'm going to make our meringue. Okay, so I have 3 egg whites, room temperature, and I'm just going to start whisking. When we kind of have some bubbles and a little bit of light foam, then we can add our cream of tartar. When you have a foam to just about where it wants to start forming peaks, then you can add your sugar. Okay, so our whipped egg whites have a little bit of a soft peak. See how this little peak wants to kind of curve down just a little bit? That tells you it's a soft peak. It's not really a stiff peak, kind of a soft peak. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my dry ingredients a little at a time, and I'm going to fold my dry ingredients into my egg whites. So I'll just take a rubber spatula and get a scoop, maybe two, and I'm going to fold. And what I want is I want the dry ingredients to be moistened and wet looking before I add my next installment of dry ingredients. But I'm folding gently because I do not want to break up my egg whites. So you want to fold your mixture until it looks like that. It's going to be very shiny and soft, kind of runny, but it's not too loose. Okay, so you're going to let this sit while you prepare a pastry bag with a large tip. So I like a tip that's about this size here. I'm going to put this into a pastry bag and I'm going to pipe it onto a sheet pan. And then I'm going to let it sit. Our batter in our piping bag with a little tip on it, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to pipe the size of the cookie we want, about like that. Leave a little bit of space. Okay, now that these are piped, we do another little step. We want to shock these so they all get in the right little position, in the right little shape. So we do that by picking this whole tray up about 2 inches, and then we let it drop. Okay? Now, if you can kind of see, the tops of these are a little shiny. It's very important we let this sit here about 20 minutes or so until the shine kind of comes off the cookies a little bit. And what's going to happen is it's going to kind of dry out a little bit before we go into the oven. So we should have a whole bunch of little macaroons with a nice solid top. And that little shocking we did is going to form what they call a foot. It's a little crinkly edge all the way around on the very bottom of the macaroons. And that gives it that distinctive appearance. So we're going to let this sit about 20 minutes to kind of dry out the tops. As you can see, the shine has come off of these little cookies here. We're going to put them into the oven and we're going to watch them. They're probably going to bake about 8 to 10 minutes, but we'll check them and make sure. When they come out, we'll let them sit on the pan and cool. Okay, they look about ready to come out. Okay, so I've got some beautiful macaroons here, right out the oven. There's a few with a few cracks, but those out of the cracks can be the bottoms. It's just fine. You see the little perfect little crinkly edge on the bottom? That's called a foot. Now we're gonna leave these sit on here for just a few minutes, and then we're gonna gently peel them off the parchment paper. And we're gonna let them cool down completely. Okay, so I took them off of the sheet pan and put them on a cool table so they can cool down on the bottoms a little bit better. It's been a couple of minutes, so then I can just go and kind of give it a little twist and a little turn, and they come right up. Little twist, little turn, comes right up. Little twist, little turn, comes right up. All right. So what I want to do is I want to take them, I want to flip them upside down very gently next to where they are. I want the bottoms to cool down as well. Okay, so as you can see, I've got our macaroons upside down. So I have a bottom here and a top here. Doesn't really matter. All right. If you watch the video on how to make a ganache, you can go back and see that. What I have here is the ganache. I'm going to take just a little bit of ganache and we'll put it right in the middle of the macaroon, just like that. I'm going to take a macaroon of even size, or relatively even size, put it on there and just give it a little bit of a twist so that the ganache goes all the way around. And there's our macaron. All right, so this is the final product. I hope you've enjoyed. Don't forget to go to my channel hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. If you want me to make anything in particular, hit me up in comments and maybe I can make it. There's our beautiful chocolate macaroons. Delicious.